Hello, YouTube. We are back for the Attack for Jeremy's Detective Comics number 33. I'm sorry about that. And this is the first wrap. The signature was removed nicely up here. Hopefully the camera is picking it up. So what do we want to do with this upload? It's wet right now, and the wrap is sandwiched between two pieces of Hollytex. So what I want to do is I just want to flatten out the wrap itself, and then what we're going to do is we're going to remove the top piece of Hollytex, because I want to essentially perform some tear seals, because it's not just going to be doing leaf casting. We're going to do tear seals and leaf casting in conjunction with one another, because I don't feel that the leaf casting alone works with really tight joints of a tear like this wrap has. And I also decided to do the tear seals on the front of the cover. I think the front is a good side to do the tear seals, because I think that the graphics in the back are more important, and I believe I can get a better fix on the front here. And what does that mean? That was just a lot of gibberish, Jerry. Well, what it means is that the way the rip is positioned on the front, it's overlapping. So what that means is that this rip on the front page right here is overlapping the way it teared on the bottom piece like this. So I want to keep the overlapped piece of paper over the piece that's underneath. And I hope that makes sense. And this rip goes from here, and it goes all the way down, and then it goes in right like this from here on, and then it travels all the way up. So the way we're going to do this tear seal, because I want to make this a real precision fix, I don't want to do it where it's a big piece of tengujo or tengojo. I would rather do it where it's a real tiny piece or thin strip, and I'll show you how I'm going to do it. Right here we have methyl cellulose. So what I want to do is I want to follow the rip with my brush, and I want to paint some methyl cellulose over the whole rip, just like this. Okay? We're going to paint the methyl cellulose just like this, not a lot, over the rip. Just like that. Easy peasy. Then what I want to do is I want to take this big piece of tengojo. Look how big that piece is. Let's trim it down. I don't need it that big. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to rest it just like this over the rip. You see that? And I know it's wet and the water is sucking down the tengojo, but the water is not going to secure the tengujo. The methyl cellulose will. And when this dries, I'll be able to pick up the piece of tengujo that is not glued down, and then we will be able to trim it. And I'm going to show you how to trim it when it dries. Okay? So that's one piece right there. And I'm going to do this for each tears on this wrap. And then we'll let it dry. And then when it's dried, we'll come back and I'll show you how I'm going to trim it. So I'm going to do this with each one of the tears off camera. You don't need me to see it. I just displayed it on one tear here in the front. And then when it dries, I'll come back and I'll show you how we're going to trim it and really make it very precision-like, okay? So I'll see you soon. Okay, guys, I'm back. I did all of the tear seals with big pieces of Tengujo. And what I'm doing now is I want the document to dry as flat as possible. Because once it's dried, what we're going to do is we are going to then trim the Tengujo, okay? And I want to do some precision trimming. Then we're going to leaf cast. And I haven't decided yet which side I am going to leaf cast. It may be a combination of both. But right now what I'm doing is I'm doing some blotting and I'm just doing my best to make this wrap as flat as possible. And we're going to wet it again. We're going to dampen it again when we do the leaf casting. And I'm going to use a little wheat paste as well for the Tengujo repairs, okay? So that's what we're doing, and I'll show you how I'm going to do it. But again, what we're doing now is we are trying to blot it before I put it in Big Bertha to wrench down on it to make it where it's nice and flat and dried flat. So this is one of the reasons why I like to use my plastic pieces. See how I just flipped it over? It was very easy to flip it over. And then you can use the plastic just like this in order to move around the document. And the main goal right now, what I want to do is I want to take this side of paper towels off and I want to put a new set because it took up some moisture, and that's the main goal of what I'm doing now. So we're going to put one fresh side of paper towels so I can increase my stock in Bounty. Oh, I really should look who actually owns Bounty, because that would be a good stock. I'm sure it's one of these big multinational corporations, or one of these corporations that own a lot of different home products, but I'm just talking. What do I know? So see how I put another sheet of paper towels? Now we can flip it around very easily with my plastic. We don't have to worry about manipulating, or rather than manipulating, we don't have to worry about moving the document and disrupting what I'm trying to do right now. Let's give it another flattening out to make sure that the Holly text is nice and flat, just like this. So when we press down on it and everything dries and the methyl cellulose and the Tengujo dries very nice and flat, and it adheres nicely to the wrap, we're going to put another piece of paper towel. And this is what I do with the conservation. And sometimes in my mind, I'm like, should I show this? I did this a few times and I didn't show it. I was doing it off camera. And then I said to myself, why don't I show it? Because these are steps that have to be done. And it happens a lot that I do this. So let's close it up with the shelving. Okay, and if you haven't checked out my prior upload, check this book out that I got, it Giant Size X-Men #1, and go check it out. The upload prior to this one, I think it was last Friday. This will be premiering on Monday or Wednesday. So this is a cool project that I'm going to work on in the future. And I want to try to get all these water stains out, and it's going to be a fun, like I said, a fun project. So I think this is enough for this upload. I don't want to do it too long. I want to try to do it shorter. And then next upload, what we'll do is I'll show you how I'm going to trim the Tengujo, and we're going to get this prepped and ready for leaf casting. So if you're not subbed, hit that sub button, share, like, do all that good thing, comment, and I'll see you soon.